It was only because I knew you. I was like, I know Molly Hornback. And they're like, oh, okay.
Oh,
All right, good morning, everybody. How we doing? Hey, thanks for coming. Today I'm going to talk about our best interest, and it's something that that's kind of hit home for me in the last few years. Something that I've tried to kind of a principle I've tried to live by more often. And today I want to kind of put you in the situation of how can you, as a leader, a coach, or a sponsor, how can you kind of grasp onto that mindset, and then how does that also carry over to the kids that you're leading? Because I really think there's two ways we can look at it. We can look at it from a coaching or a sponsoring perspective of living in the thought process that everything that happens to me is in my best interest, but then also how am I able to then give my chance to the kids that I'm leading that opportunity to follow through on that as well. And I think it starts with us. So before we take a look at a video, I want to read to you a little blurb out of Burn Your Goals. It's a book I'm close to finishing by Josh Metcalf. And this chapter is actually titled, Don't Just Go Through It, Grow Through It. And I want to read to you a little segment here where he's talking to one of his golfers. He's a consultant for, I think, UCLA Girls Golf. It says, during one of our workshops, a woman who plays golf said to us, so when I duck hook my drive into a hazard on number 17, I'm supposed to just believe that it's in my best interest? I responded, yes. What is the alternative? If you're angry about it and dwell on the situation, you're likely to not think clearly and hack at your next shot. How's that strategy been working out for you? And her shoulders dropped a little bit, and she confessed it hadn't been working very well. So, and I'm looking in the room here, I think, how many of you golf a little bit? Okay, I figure, yeah, I know there's quite a few of you golfers. Okay, and if you're not a golfer, that's fine, you'll be able to relate to this. If you think about it in golf, which it's easy to hit a bad shot every once in a while, I hit a lot of them. The mindset of the opposite of not thinking that's in my best interest doesn't usually often work very well for us in golf. And you've heard it, those of you that don't really even golf a whole lot, you've heard people say, or you've heard it on maybe TV, or you've heard other golfers talk about how you just move on to that next shot. Well, it's a lot easier to do that when you're thinking that, hey, that last shot was in my best interest. Something good is going to come out of me being now in the sand trap in the middle of the fairway. And that's what we're going to concentrate on today. How do we adopt that mindset, and then how do we then pass that on to the kids we're leading? And it starts with us. So again, two angles, and I want you to think about the two angles, you as a coach and sponsor, and your kids. And I want you to think specifically about some of maybe the language that you and I use in front of our kids on a day-to-day basis. When you are faced with a challenge, or your team's faced with a challenge, do you look at it as an opportunity or a challenge? Do you think there's a difference, opportunity versus challenge? Is there a difference maybe in the context or connotation that's used? Why do you think that, Melissa?
opportunity makes it seem like a positive thing. Challenge makes it seem negative.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Do you look at it as a possibility, or do you look at it as a hurdle or a bump in the road? And I think there's a difference. If you look at it as a chance, maybe a gift, I really think our language is probably what will help us transpire this everything happens for our best interest. I think our language is what probably does more for us than anything else as coaches and sponsors. What kind of language are we using when we're facing the adversity we know we're going to face? Here's a short video clip from Joshua Metcalf talking about this kind of mindset.
If you can get punched in the face, knocked out, your face split open, and truly believe that that's in your best interest, and it's an opportunity for you to learn and grow, how do you stop that person? I've worked with enough people around the world to know that life punches everyone in the face. It could be when you're 9 years old and you pull your little brother out of the pool. It could be when you lose a coach who molests 30 kids. It could be when you lose a coach who kills his wife for insurance money. It could be when your program's cut. It could be when you lose a loved one. It could be when something really bad happens to you. But life is going to punch you in the face. That's a guarantee. Life is going to punch you in the face. But if you can start to adopt that growth mindset and believe that no matter what happens to you, because I didn't have any control over getting punched in the face. Once it happened, and it happened. So the only thing I believe I can do that is beneficial is believe it was in my best interest and an opportunity for me to learn and grow. That's it. Don't let somebody that you hate at this level diminish your chances at the next level. Because there's somebody out there that's working hard. There's somebody out there that has that growth mindset. The guy at the top of the mountain didn't fall there. Success always looks easy to those who aren't around while all the training is being done. There's a lot of people that say, so you want me to believe that there's no such thing as talent? You can believe whatever you want, but I can tell you that researchers can't really find it when they start studying and looking for it. What about Tiger Woods? Interesting. When Tiger Woods was 7 months old, his dad would put him in a swing, set him in the garage, and have Tiger watch him hit hundreds and hundreds of golf balls into a net for hours at a time. His dad was having him do purposeful visualization. His dad knew that muscle memory isn't formed in just your muscles. Your muscles don't have memory. Your brain does. And so he had baby Tiger developing muscle memory by watching him hit golf balls over and over and over again. Tiger was starting to form the neurological pathways that would help him. By the time Tiger Woods was 10 years old, he most likely had close to 10,000 hours of deliberate practice under his belt. In case you don't know, that's the minimum amount of hours that researchers have found necessary to become an expert in anything, and Tiger had it by the time he was 10. What if you started to seek out the toughest training to grow, to become everything that you're capable of being, instead of just skirting by and trying to take the easiest classes and cheating and everything else? And I know because I did it. And all of those things set us back. Mozart is the person that people tend to point to and say, well, Mozart was super talented. Well, let's look at his life. His dad was a famous composer. He started teaching him how to compose music at the age of 3 years old. He started him on a deliberate practice training regimen at 3 years old. Mozart didn't create his first masterpiece until he was 21.
Good morning. We do have one announcement. Speech team members, there is a speech team meeting in Mrs. Johnson's classroom, 705, taking place now. Again, a speech team meeting
Michelangelo said,
taking place in Mrs. Johnson's classroom at 7:45. Thank you.
Because if you'll start to let go of the outcome and just focus on the process 100% of that commitment list, what am I committed to doing that's going to close the gap between where I'm at and where I want to be? The results will take care of themselves. When we put first things first, second things aren't suppressed, they take care of themselves. John Wooden won 10 national championships. He had a winning percentage of 80%. He never talked about winning. There's an NBA All-Star. He's now retired. But when he was your age, he spent a lot of his Friday and Saturday nights in the gym putting up shots, training to get better. One day the janitor had seen this and he felt like he had had enough. And so the janitor came over to Kevin Johnson and he said, "Why aren't you out with all your friends partying?" And Kevin said, "Parties aren't going to take me where I want to go." That's somebody who had a vision for their life. And somebody who was committed to making the sacrifices and using his 86,400 seconds to become the type of person that he wanted to become. And I can tell you that nothing has made a bigger impact in my life than the mentors that I've sought out. And when I was at Duke, they asked me one time, they interviewed all the seniors. It wasn't something special or that they thought I was wise. I just had to do it. And they interviewed me, and they said, what advice would you give to young people? And I said, follow your dreams, chase your dreams. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something. Keep pursuing your dreams. And I said, and find people that have done what you want to do and learn from them. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you that what you want to do is impossible. That you're not smart enough, that you're not good looking enough, that you're not fast enough, that you're not tall enough, that you're not whatever enough. There's going to be a lot of people. And truthfully, there's a lot of people that are going to tell you that you can't accomplish your dreams, because if you can't accomplish your dreams, then that means that they should have. You wouldn't take your car if your car was broken down. You wouldn't take your car to the grocery store to get it fixed, because they have no clue how to fix your car. But yet that's what people do with their dreams. They take their dreams to people that have no clue what it takes to achieve their dreams, instead of seeking out mentors that know what it takes. And just sitting at their feet and being like, how can I do this? How can I learn? What do I need to read? What do I need to study? What do I need to do? How can I make this happen? It changes everything. And like I said, we now have YouTube, and we have books that you can get. We have libraries everywhere. I think it's like less than 3% of the United States population has a library card. 46% of college graduates never read another book. One day we were on the plane headed to a game, and one of the girls that I mentor at UCLA, she said, Joshua, you really read all the time. And I was like, yeah, I do. As soon as I realized that my level of influence in the world was linked to how much I read. And so we have access to YouTube where we can learn from almost anyone. Anybody that has done stuff that you want to do probably has stuff on YouTube. I've got tons of stuff on YouTube that share stories and strategies and things like that. It's so simple, so everybody uses YouTube, or they've written an autobiography, or their stuff is somewhere, but it takes initiative. The great golfer Ben Hogan got hit by a bus. His car got hit by a bus. Doctors told him you'll probably never walk again. Not only did he walk again, he went out and won a major golf tournament after that accident. And Ben Hogan said, everyone thinks that greatness is sexy. It's not. It's dirty hard work.
How did he connect? There are a bunch of avenues he took in this video towards having and developing this mindset. What were some of those avenues? He was kind of all over the place at times. But how did he connect back to developing this growth mindset, this everything happens for my best interest? What are some of those avenues he gave? Yeah, having commitments over goals, and buying into that process. Anything else?
Not relying on pure talent, because there's no research behind
Yeah.
who's got the talent.
How many of you in here just never knew that about Tiger Woods? I didn't really until I watched this video. Okay, I haven't read a whole lot about Tiger Woods, but so as an infant, his dad was basically putting him through mental training and memory as a little kid, so that his swing became excellent. And so it wasn't just like Tiger Woods at age 6 was awesome. He was at age 6, he had already put in thousands of hours of training without even really noticing it. Probably isn't it? Think about it. Okay. I can't imagine my son, you know, that's just crazy. So there's more than just you're growing and you were blessed with talent. Any other ways?
Mentors?
Yeah, mentors. He brought up mentors and being a lifelong learner, all the resources we have now. This came from YouTube. You can find all kinds of things on YouTube, on the internet, books. Okay, and through all of this, kind of the process of combining all of those things we just talked about helps us build and continue to build upon having that growth mindset. So not just going through things, but we're growing through things. Okay? And again, I think it starts with us. I think if we adopt that mindset, and if we then portray it onto our kids that we're leading every day, I think that will continue to push them forward. And I think that's part of our role as leaders. All right? And our kids in our building face probably more adversity than a lot of kids in other buildings our size in the state. And that's a statement that could be debated, but I really feel that way after just a year and a half here. And so how do we teach and instill this into the kids we're blessed to be leading every day? And that way they can carry that torch on forward as they get older and as they move on past high school. Have any of you ever heard of Bill Hybels? Anybody ever heard of Bill Hybels? Okay. I didn't think you probably would. He's a leadership guru. This guy, he actually, do you need a pen?
Yeah.
He actually has started a leadership summit. It's a video conference to hundreds of countries, to thousands of people. Take one and I'll pass around. Sorry. He started a leadership conference that you can go to these satellite locations every August. And again, they show this worldwide. And he has leaders like Tony Dungy speak, and Condoleezza Rice, and former Army generals. And he brings in a couple of these big-time leaders to be keynote speakers every year over a 2-day period. He's written many books and has many resources on leadership. And one of the books he wrote is called Axiom. And Axiom is basically leadership proverbs. And it's this book of about 78 leadership proverbs. They're only about 2 or 3 pages long. I used it a lot in leadership class I taught because the kids could relate well and it was short. It was a good read. Anyway, one of his chapters in this book is called 6x6. And he calls it the 6x6 execution, where basically he developed a mindset amongst him and his staff at his workplace. They would pull out a note card every 6 weeks, and I give you a sticky note. They would pull out a note card every 6 weeks, and they would write down 6 things that they were going to be committed to working on in that next 6 weeks. Similar to what Joshua Metcalf talks a lot about is a commitment list. What are you going to be committed to doing in the next 6 weeks? So I thought it would be important for us to maybe try that today, but create a 6x6 list regarding our commitment towards having that attitude of everything happens for my best interest. So what are 6 things you can commit to help you further yourself along in that attitude of, again, everything that happens to me, good and bad, happens for my best interest, because we know that will then carry on down to the students that we lead every day, in the classroom, out on the field. So I thought about it some, is it something with an attitude? Maybe an attitude adjustment. Maybe it's an attitude adjustment during a specific thing that happens to you on a day-to-day basis. Maybe there's someone that just gets under your skin every day, and then it kind of ruins the next hour of your day. Okay? Maybe it's our mannerisms. What's our body language like when we deal with that person? Or when we deal with, a colleague that again, we're kind of getting off track. We're not thinking that this is happening for my best interest. How are we reflecting a role model body language? How's our language? And again, I think it goes back to opportunity versus challenge, hurdle and bump in the road versus a chance, okay, a gift. And then finally, what are your commitments towards, again, trying to further yourself in this mindset? All right, so you don't have to read any of these out. I just thought, this would be a great time for maybe some self-reflection. What 6 things can I work on to better myself in relation to everything happens for my best interest, both good and bad, day to day, minute by minute. Because all of us, including myself, we react negatively towards things probably on a day-to-day basis, where if we just tweak something, it may change a lot in our lives. And it may change a lot in the lives of those that we lead. couple minutes to reflect on it, and then we'll close. All right, it is about time to go. Anybody have any that they'd like to share? Here's one that I thought of while when reflecting some. I know as a coach there were times where even just a bad call in a game, you know, thinking twice about how my body language was or my words and my actions or stepping out the half court maybe, you know, and arguing. This stuff like that. Anybody have anything they want to share or willing to share? You don't have to.
I just put the word refocus on just because I thought there's multiple ways, like you were talking about, when something bad happens in practice or in a game. There's so many times at the next play I'm saying, see, you did it again, see, you did it again. Just a, you know, just a refocus of finding, you know, you try and go back to saying that, you know, the sandwich and the positive and the negative statements and that sort of stuff. And instead of just pounding on kids and saying, you did it again, you screwed up again, you screwed up, you know, trying to find something positive to refocus on, and then still try to teach them that, that what they did wasn't right. But also, like you talked about a game, you know, there's so many times too where we, you know, offensive rebounding is a big problem for us.
Mhm.
It's always, you gave up another one, you gave up another one, you know, and trying to get back to finding what we are doing right. So.
Yeah, it's good.
With, patience, I was thinking about our freshman team. We're not very talented, we don't have very many girls, and I think they're frustrated that they're not as good as maybe they want to be. And as I was watching the game, I was like, God, this is just hard to watch. And I thought, what have you done to help these freshmen get better? And I thought it might be nice maybe at practice if I actually invested some time with them. Okay, maybe they would think they're more important, or maybe they would listen a little better, or I could do that to help them.
Good idea. That's good. Yeah, you almost have to take with this, you almost have to take a viewpoint from a little bit higher. You know, kind of getting outside of that channel of focus that we're in day to day, especially as coaches. But then, all right, how do I look at it from a different perspective now? Seeing a bigger picture. And it's hard, especially when you're in season. Any others?
I kind of feel like I'm in a crossroads right now in my coaching career to where I still have mentors that I look up to, and I'm having a hard time with that idea that I'm old enough now that I've become other people's mentors too, you know. So, you know, I just put like, I also, you know, I put refocus on there, but I also put regrow, just kind of, you know, to figure out what my role is, and you know, in the coaching world.
And I don't know if everybody realizes, Terry's got a true volunteer on the staff this year that played for you how many years ago? Not
2010.
Yeah. So you're now in those shoes that somebody was for you for so many years. That it's kind of shifting, huh? New season.
Makes you feel older.
It's fun though. That's fun about life is we get to, you know, pay it forward really in essence for somebody that helped us out for so long. Any other thoughts? All
My,
right.
like I said, my focus this year is just how the sport can be used to help them be successful in life. That it's not just about wrestling, not just about winning, because I used to focus on that when I was younger, when I first started, that it was always about winning, and now it's just like, how can I help them be successful in their life?
Yep. That's good. Getting back to that why and the purpose statement. All right. I really appreciate you guys' attendance today and coming. Thank you. I think we're on again in 2 weeks. I'll email again. Really do appreciate it, and hope you guys have a great day. Have fun today. I'll take those pens back if you got them. And there's more coffee and juice for anybody that needs more. Thank you. Got that stuff?
Yeah.